We have space diamonds? I didn't know we had space diamonds. Generic Control and the goes me here, back with another Game Theory Minecraft reaction. Today we're doing is Minecraft Netherite from space, which this should be a real interesting video as I recently discovered that Netherite is a thing only in the past couple months, or I guess that's when it was added or however, but I did not know Netherite was added until I started streaming Minecraft on Mondays, which I'm still doing that right now. I have full Netherite, like everything, the best enchantments possible. Still haven't died in that world, and I've done some pretty crazy things. I'm restoring an ancient city right now, which is going really well. I'm actually almost done. By the time you're watching this video, I might have already replaced all the sculk that's on the floor with deep slate, so that's gonna be awesome. I still gotta do the walls, I gotta do the ceiling, I gotta restore the buildings, build new buildings, bring villagers in. I also have to fight the warden as well because I did leave one streaker around for that, so I might do that in very near future. I'll sure to let you know about that one, so you should definitely join the Discord server or follow me on Twitch. That will also work. You can check out my reaction last video where we learned that the dragon has a name, which is Gene, which is do not kill the ender dragon. I'll leave my reaction to that video right there. Also link down below in the description, and I really should make a playlist for this series. I keep saying it, but I just have so much stuff to do all the time. But I do read all your comments, so leave them down below, and also shout out to the patrons because they got all the videos day early. Could not do this if it was not for them. $3 a month, get you all my reaction videos day early. It's like 16 videos a week minimum. So shout out to all the patrons. Shout out to you watching this video. Hope you're subscribed. We just hit 93,000 subscribers, so we are less than 7,000 away from 100,000, and my birthday is a little less than a month away. So I don't think we're gonna get 7,000 subscribers in 1 month. It would be the most I've ever gotten, but it would be really, really cool if we could get just a little bit closer. But let's go ahead and jump into is Netherite from space. All right.
Netherite, the uber strong material that makes diamond look like cobblestone. A material so powerful that it's hiding in the depths of the scariest part of Minecraft's world, the Nether.
I don't
it's so
bed
rare
mine
that
for
it
them.
feels
I just
like
strip
you can
mine.
only find it in your dreams.
Well,
it's not like any of us are going to be doing much sleep tonight, but why is it so hard to find? What is Netherite?
I like it. I want it to be harder to find.
This is no simple origin tale, friends. It takes us from the depths of the Nether to the reaches of outer space, and ultimately to the secret
if it came from space, how did it get to the
Minecraft's
Nether?
long-lost lore.
I don't know. Nothing harder than diamond. Try waking up at 6 a.m.
Internet. Welcome to Game Theory,
Yeah.
the show that's doing the hard work of piecing together Minecraft's lore because clearly Mojang ain't gonna do it for
They have
us.
books
We
for
really
that.
want people to try to figure these things out by themselves, keeping the
okay,
sense of
Scott.
mystery.
Well,
Start
if the
coughing.
Minecraft lore is supposed to be a mystery, then consider me your persistent detective. So far, we've covered a lot of Minecraft lore on the channel.
I like how every
covering the
single time they
history
show
of this
the previous
ancient builder
thumbnails.
race that constructed the monuments that we see throughout the world. Something that kinda got confirmed by Mojang recently.
So, the lowdown is, these cities, they come from an ancient civilization, but... Are you still recording?
We've also talked in the past about the Nether, and why those soul sand valleys are even creepier than they seem. However, across all this discussion of Nether and the wider Minecraft lore, we haven't talked about one of the most important materials that you find
Netherite,
down
which
there,
is like the best. Are they ever going to add something better than Netherite?
Minecraft's newest materials, only coming out in June of 2020. Wait, it's only been a year since it was introduced? Wow.
Okay.
Seems like it's been forever. Time is just
It wasn't
an
added
illusion,
to
man.
Bedrock
Anyway,
for a
despite
while
it being
there,
so
right?
new, from a lore standpoint, Netherite is one of the Minecraft world's oldest mysteries. Since that update, buried deep within the Nether, you can chance upon ancient debris.
I always find it when I
Emphasis on
don't
the word
look for it.
ancient, which you can then smelt to form Netherite scraps. For those, combined with 4 golden ingots, gets you a Netherite ingot, which you can then use to upgrade your diamond armor into even more powerful gear. All of this then raises the obvious question:
remember when you had to memorize
Netherite? Clearly,
recipes
it's supposed to be a
and,
fictional
go to the
substance,
wiki.
but when has that stopped us before? So what in real life is harder than a diamond? Well, nothing. There isn't really anything on Earth that compares. The scale that real-world scientists use to measure hardness, the Mohs hardness scale, was calibrated to be a 1 to 10 measurement, with 10 being the hardest.
And that's
who
based
set
off
that level
diamond.
to 10 and is also the only one in that category? You guessed it, diamonds. I know that in a previous theory, I actually went on my way to prove that diamonds weren't actually the best material
think I've
for
seen that
building
one.
things like
I
armor
did
because
see
although they're
the how much
scientifically
diamond armor
hard,
cost.
they're not necessarily tough, which is just opening up a whole other can of worms that we've already addressed. Anyway, since Mojang keeps ignoring my letters to make diamonds more realistic, diamonds are officially the strongest material for us today. So if nothing in the world is harder than diamond, what then is Netherite that makes it harder than diamond?
Or
well, what about something that
underworld
isn't
stuff
from this world? In the middle of the Arizona desert, there's a massive meteor crater that's over 1.1 kilometers or 0.7 miles in diameter. And it goes down to a depth of 170 meters or 560 feet. I actually got a chance to visit it myself when Stephanie and I moved across the country last year, and trust me, the numbers do not cannot demonstrate how big this thing is.
Just like the Grand
It
Canyon.
is
It's
massive.
very
as far
big.
As scientists can tell, this crater was formed about 50,000 years ago when an asteroid fell from orbit and struck the Earth. And boy, did it leave a mark. Not only that, but upon striking the Earth, the meteorite actually shattered into tons of little pieces. But little might be a bit of a stretch. Here's me and Ollie standing next to the largest fragment ever found. As you can see, it's not so little.
Yeah,
regardless, these fragments went
that's a lot of
flying,
iron.
And so
Iron-based
scientists
meteorite. I used to watch that meteorite hunting TV show. Oh, so much fun.
In 1967, though, they discovered something that was truly out of this world. Lonsdaleite, a substance that is, in fact, harder than diamond. Despite its outer space origins, lonsdaleite is actually extremely similar to diamond from a chemical perspective. A diamond is just a lump of carbon that's been subjected to a lot of heat and pressure, such that the atoms bond together to form a crystalline cubic lattice structure. Lonsdaleite also starts off as a lump of carbon, but is subjected to even more intense heat and pressure, causing its atoms to bond together differently. Instead of forming a cubic lattice, it forms a hexagonal lattice, which apparently is even stronger than the cubic lattice of diamond. Theoretically, a piece of lonsdaleite with a perfect hexagonal lattice would be up to 58% harder than diamond. The big
diamonds are already
here,
harder
though, is that the lonsdaleite fragments that we've recovered so far have just a lot of impurities, and as a result, only measure around 7 to 8 on the Mohs hardness scale. But in its pure form, lonsdaleite is basically diamond plus.
So we can grow diamonds.
The same material, carbon, just subjected to different levels of heat and pressure. And the fact
it must
that
be
it's
a
so similar
lot
to
of
an actual diamond makes it a fascinating parallel to netherite. Because remember, netherite gear isn't just something that you can create from scratch.
You need diamonds.
Instead of putting together a couple of ingots on top of a stick, you need to start from the base of a diamond sword, and then add a netherite ingot. Netherite gear is just an upgraded form of diamond gear. Not only that, but the lonsdaleite recovered from that 50,000-year-old meteor is all in the form of scattered fragments, which I suppose one could describe as ancient debris, just like it is in Minecraft.
I didn't know we had space diamonds. That's sick.
Am I saying that netherite is the remains of ancient meteorites that fell from space? Well, as much as I'm tempted to make this episode about Minecraft's ancient aliens, the nether is a closed ecosystem with a ceiling, which means it's completely cut off from outer space. So that seems pretty unlikely. Plus, the truth about lonsdaleite is
circumstances can make it form.
Meteorites, it's not strictly an alien substance. Remember,
it's a natural occurrence.
As regular carbon. Scientists, in fact, believe that while it was floating in space, the carbon was just simple graphite, no different from the graphite that you can find in your pencil. Well, okay, not exactly the same. The tip of your pencil is only 65% graphite, 30% clay, and 5% wax and other resins, but still, basically the same idea. Anyway, thanks to the meteorite's size, it was big enough to survive the heat and pressure of entering our atmosphere.
Maybe the nether has
the conditions necessary to
similar
create
pressure.
lonsdaleite. Now, if only there were somewhere in Minecraft that was super hot and pressurized.
I don't know about pressurized.
Oh wait, there is a reason it's called netherite, after all. Places like the overworld and the end simply don't have the environmental conditions necessary to create this stuff. Not only that, but netherite, in item form, literally floats on lava. Seems like a pretty useful property for any civilization making its home down in the nether. So was netherite made by this ancient race of builders that I keep
doesn't carbon have the highest
doubt it. We
melting
believe the
point
ancient builders
of all
to
the
have come
elements?
to the nether centuries ago. They built the nether fortresses that we find, storing their loot in their chests. They farmed netherwort to feed their pigs, and they did weird experiments to revive the souls of their fallen comrades. But through it all, netherite and ancient debris are nowhere to be found. You never just see it lying around a fortress or used to fortify any defenses. It's not found in any chest. It could be that Mojang just never updated the nether fortresses,
I like that it's
but
rare.
they never have been afraid to change old
Make it even
elements to
rarer.
include new ones.
Come on.
For example, drowned now don't drop gold, but copper, which feels like a pretty major change. So it must be a purposeful decision to not include those elements in the nether fortress, meaning that the ancient builders aren't the ones that we're looking for. However, in a surprising twist, Mojang did actually hint at some of the lore implications when the nether update happened back in 2020. Take a look at this.
Quote, 2020?
Piglins mined it all out. Now the only way to obtain it is by salvaging netherite scrap from ancient debris. The piglin can mine blocks. This is not a mechanic that we ever see.
Maybe it was like the
Piglins
villagers
hunt,
before, you know,
barter,
where they built stuff and then they just stopped being able to build stuff.
Mine, which means this isn't a game mechanic, but lore. Sweet juicy lore. If they're capable of mining, as well as the other things that we just mentioned, what else could they do? How about starting a civilization? Think about it. There isn't just one type of piglin. Much like villagers and illagers, there are a couple of variations of piglins, namely the piglin brute. They hunt in teams, they celebrate together in victory, plus they're able to barter with us for resources.
I've never bartered with them, though.
If this isn't a society, well then, I don't know what you're defining a society as. But it doesn't stop there. Piglins are found all over the nether, but there's one very particular place where they're found congregating.
bastion.
Bastion remnants, which
are
if the
so
name doesn't
cool.
give it away, aren't entirely in one piece. They're remnants of their
so
former
cool.
selves. Clearly, in the lore of the game,
And you also find
Piglins have
Pigstep
been able
there.
to form societies,
spent,
build
like, 8 weeks trying to
civilizations,
find
and
it.
defend against intruders. Who then were the intruders? Given the fact that Piglins are immediately hostile to you, the player, I would suspect that they're at war against the ancient builders, our ancestors.
And maybe that's what
This
happened
would,
to
first
them
of all, explain
instead
the
of
ruined
evolving
state of the
into
bastions, but
Endermen,
would also explain what
like
all
they
the
did with
natural
those.
Netherite was mined for in the first place. If they're under attack, Netherite would provide them the perfect defense.
But then what
The ancient
happened to
builders
the
were using
Netherite?
diamond gear, so why not counter with a fortress made of Netherite parts? It's fire resistant, it's perfect for being built into the landscape of the Nether,
it's better
and
than
it's
diamond.
super strong. However, like most natural
But
resources,
it wasn't there.
will eventually begin to run out. Their defenses
Wouldn't it
weaken,
still be
and
there?
although
It's not like it
Netherite
would
is
melt away.
stronger than diamond, it's not indestructible. So with no Netherite left to replace the broken parts, the bastions fall and are left in ruin. The Piglins seem to have won the war. I mean, look who's still kicking around the Nether in the present day. But
That's
they lost
true.
the most valuable resource that they had in the process. As centuries passed, those bastions that fell became buried underground, much like the ancient cities that exist in our world.
I'm
But with
restoring
Netherite's
one.
fire
Oh.
resistance, any broken scraps that were
I'm
left in the
almost done
bastions would
fixing
survive
the
the
entire
lava flows
floor.
and ground shifts, so it would never really decompose, leaving us with
Exactly.
the ancient debris buried deep underground that we know today. Something else I always thought was weird about the bastions is that you can find Netherite and ancient debris in the chests, but
You
not
can?
Netherite tools or armor. With this in mind, it does kind of make sense. There are no diamonds in the Nether, so they had no means to make Netherite gear, but they had plenty of gold, so they could make
Oh.
ingots and blocks in order to fortify their bastions. It would also explain the
That's
Piglins'
actually really
affinity
cool.
for gold. What do we use to create a Netherite ingot?
Gold.
4 scraps and 4 gold ingots. Knowing that they have a limited amount of pure Netherite, the Piglins have resorted to making a Netherite alloy of sorts, using one of the other natural resources that they have down in the Nether, gold, which is why they're willing to give you all matter of items for even a single nugget. They're trying to collect whatever scraps they can to rebuild their civilization after the ancient
Or maybe
builders
they're just obsessed with
destroyed it.
gold.
And their hatred still stands today. Why else would they be immediately hostile to you? You're an invasive species, one whose kind has already been down
They didn't
here
been enough
before
people.
and brought
The
ruin
amount of
to their
times I
thriving
took
society.
on like
Piglins
20
get
piglins at
especially
once, and
mad
I'm
when
just
you
like,
try
well,
and take
that's
a
an
look at
entire
the bastion
demographic gone.
chests. Now you're trying to steal the limited resources that they have left to rebuild what they once were. They've even trained piglin brutes to not be blinded by gold, to just remove that
Oh, wait,
intruder
really?
at
Oh,
all
the brutes. The
costs.
brutes
In
are from
the
the
end,
bastions.
much like we find ourselves trying to piece together clues that we find throughout Minecraft to construct a history of this world, the piglins themselves might be in the same position, piecing together remnants of their past in order to reconstruct their history. But hey, that's just
a theory. A very interesting theory. I didn't know we had
game
space
theory.
diamonds.
Thanks for watching.
I'm at. Oh, nothing at the end. Oh god, Hermitcraft SMP. What in the world is that? Indigo Park? What in the world is that? I'm so confused. But this is actually a real interesting one. I'm glad that it talked about space and meteorites, because like I said, I've always been, or I don't know if I said it, but I've always loved meteorites and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if it was maybe Avatar: The Last Airbender with the space sword and stuff like that. I don't really care that much about space, but I like the idea of having a meteorite sword, like Sword of the Morning or the Sword of Dawn or whatever from Game of Thrones. Absolutely love that. Anything that has to do with meteorites, really cool. Meteorite hunting is also really, really cool. Like I said, there was that show that I used to watch as a kid that was really, really awesome. But the next one's going to be The Secrets of the Undead Ender, which I'll be recording that video in a couple days. I don't know if this video will go live before or after that. But then we're going to get to the Forgotten War, which is going to be the ancient city, which I stream Minecraft every single Monday. I hope to see you there. Let me know what you think about this video. I'll be reading your comments like I do every single one of them. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Hopefully I made the channel better. But until next video, take care and keep the music.